Badminton. I'm going for it. I'm going straight in, no messing around. We're talking about badminton today because I actually managed to get to a badminton club yesterday, which was super duper exciting. So I'm going to talk about the sport in general, my experience with it, as well as what happened last night. So hello and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and oh my goodness, is it recording with the right microphone? Yeah, I think I'm just being louder than usual, which is, fair game. So let's get into it. Badminton. It's a really interesting sport. It's kind of a hybrid between tennis and volleyball, I think would be the best way to describe it. It's got a higher net, but you use rackets rather than hands, and it doesn't use a ball, it uses a shuttlecock, which is probably the only time I can say that in the correct context. I will now refer to them as shuttles because that's just easier and faster to say and less risky. But yeah, it's an interesting sport in the fact that it's probably one of the only sports I actually enjoy, and I attribute that to the fact that it wasn't forced to be played at school until I was much older. By that point I already enjoyed it, and also I got formal training in how to play badminton, which is something that schools don't really do very well. They don't teach you properly how to play sports because realistically they have to know so many different sports to give you a broad range and then try and teach you how to play all of them. And the only real sport that they know particularly, and this is again coming down to sexism, is they only really know football correctly to teach the boys, and they only know netball correctly to teach the girls. Depending on the area, basketball might be the one that they do for boys. It certainly was for my area. Basketball was a much bigger thing, and that's what they taught us. Well, not probably still, but yeah. So obviously every sport I ever tried, it was just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna do it. And I was not an athletic kid. I was the smart kid. I didn't have the natural athletic ability. I had to really engage and put my brain into learning how to actually flipping play sports with my body. Hand-eye coordination takes some time to get used to when it's not an innate trait, right? So I don't know how I stumbled into badminton, to be perfectly honest. I just remember that I used to go to a juniors club, which was for like 12 to 17 year olds. So I actually had proper formal training. They would actually do sessions where you could just play, or you could play against trainers, or they would actually try and teach you how to actually play shots and sort of the mental aspect. They do drills and whatnot. So I actually got a proper education for how to play the sport, I suppose you could say. So that was really nice because it meant I could actually enjoy the game. Because, our big barrier to enjoying something is your ability. If everyone sucks at something, it's fun because you're on a level playing field. If someone's really good at something and everyone else sucks, it's not fun anymore. You get me? So having an ability within the sport was certainly something that helped me to enjoy it. And obviously the club was really good because they introduced a lot of ways to play the sport outside of just traditional matches, which is great and really enjoyable. We had the game that we called Run Around, where you'd have loads of people on either side of the court, and the idea was that you played a single shot and then you had to run to the other side and join the back of the queue on the other side of the court and keep going. And if you missed a shot, you were out. And the idea was that you kept going and going and going until there were fewer and fewer people, until you're basically like there's three of you and you're legging it round a court trying to hit shots. And then when it's just a one-on-one, you just play a single point normally. So yeah, fun. It gave me a good appreciation for the sport and gave me a good amount of training to actually be able to play the sport competently. I did actually I think I entered a singles tournament once, and I might have entered a doubles tournament once. Didn't go very well, but that's the fun of it, right? You go, you try, you learn. So that was enjoyable until I moved to university, and then it went on pause essentially until I picked it back up in my second year, because that's when I got a sports membership so I could join the university badminton's team. Not team, just the social club. They did have a team, not that I was anywhere near good enough to be part of the actual team. No. I just did the regular social club. That was really fun. That was just kind of freeform of just play, grab people, play games, play doubles, play singles, play whatever you want to do. So that was enjoyable. Obviously, there was no sort of ability to progress. Like, nobody was there competent enough to be able to teach you anything, so you just had to rely on your own ability. So it was still nice, still enjoyable. We would go and play it for literally 3.5-ish hours, basically from when the club started, I think at about 6 or 7 o'clock, until the sports facility closed at about 10:30. So that was really fun, really enjoyable, and I made some friends doing that. It was always a shame when it was either cancelled for whatever reason, or when we had to pause for summer. That was like, oh no, I don't get to play anymore. But I did really enjoy it, and I got really sad when COVID hit, obviously. Oh, I've said it now. When that whole situation happened, obviously nobody's going anywhere. You can't play any sport because most sports require being in contact with other people. So that all got shut down, and I didn't pick up badminton for a while. I don't even think I picked it back up until now, essentially, because I finished my final year of university during lockdowns and isolation. And then I went straight into the wonderful world of work as an adult. So yeah, last night was awesome. Is the best word I can think of right now. I haven't played, like I said, since probably before the whole pandemic situation, so it's been a couple years, 2-3 years at this point, and I certainly didn't realize how much I missed it, because there is just something to intense exercise, but that you're not realizing it's exercise because you're doing something enjoyable. That's just really nice, and something you need to experience to either know that you like it or know that it's not for you. Playing badminton constantly for 3 hours is hard. It's very hard on your body, and I'm feeling that right now because I'm kind of sore and achy all over. There's parts of me that I really should probably stretch for fear of them being damaged accidentally. But my advice is take breaks, drink water like it's running out, and you'll be okay. So yeah, last night I rocked up to the staff sports club, which I didn't realize was a thing until fairly recently. So for all staff members and for postgrad students, there's this badminton club, essentially the same one that I went to when I was a student, but for a different group of people. And again, it's just rock up, play games, have fun. Their idea though is that because obviously there is quite a few people that turn up to it, the idea is to try and always play double games, which is nice because especially for me, who's coming from having not played in ages, having a partner to kind of pick up the slack is very nice, very helpful, and can make sure that you don't just bomb completely in your first game, which I almost did. So funny thing, I didn't realize that playing the game gave me a sense of timing for how to play the game. When it comes to badminton, the way the shuttle acts in the air is very counterintuitive, but it's something that you just learn over time and get a feel for how it works, and then you don't really realize it's a problem. I realized it was a problem when I was trying to do a basic shot called a clear shot. So you just hit it from the back of the court to the back of the other side of the court with a fair amount of power. It's supposed to go quite high, quite far, and I just missed it. I kept missing it every time. The shot would be there'd be so much time to set up for it, and I just keep missing, miss, and I'm like, oh no, what am I doing wrong? And the problem was genuinely just timing. As I was playing with a couple people, I was like, oh hey, I've not played in a while, I'm kind of struggling to hit basic shots, do you know what's going on? And they were like, yeah, you're getting in position, you're doing the motion and everything, and it looks all good, I think it's just that you're going too early. Which is not something I've ever had a problem with, is trying to hit shots too early. So most of last night for me was just, I can do the motions. My body has surprisingly remembered how to do a lot of it quite well. It was just the timing that was completely off. So if you haven't played a sport in a while, my advice to you, as their advice was to me, slow down. Literally just slow down. All I was doing is they would say, instead of, taking a clear shot, try taking a drop shot instead, which is the same motion, you just move slower so that you don't put too much power behind your shot. And that's what helped. That's what helped get me into it. I was slowing down, I was making the motions and making sure that the motion was correct, and I was actually hitting the shots far more consistently, to the point where by halfway through the night, I was almost up to where I was. The next limiting factor was my shoes, to be honestly. I was just kind of sliding all over the place, which wasn't great. And also, I underestimated how much my body has changed in this amount of time. I'm so much faster than I realized. I remember when I was younger, to try and get around the court, I would have to absolutely use as much power as I had in my legs to move me around. Whereas now, I can get around the court really quickly, quicker than I anticipated. So I ended up almost overshooting, or with the timing problem, I'd end up positioning myself really early because I didn't realize that I could get to where I needed to be in such a short space of time, and then I'd be trying to take a shot like 5 seconds too soon, which is a weird problem to have. But yeah, I saw the progress though. Like the first few matches, the point difference was quite big, and then as we were progressing on and on into the night, the matches were getting closer and closer until the very last match where I won with my teammates. So that was nice to actually win a game. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to going to that again, hopefully, because it was just, I came away feeling so good, so happy, and it's very good exercise, I have to say. I was drowning though. I was so hot and so sweaty. It was like, oh, this is gross. Get in the car, turn the air conditioning on, despite the fact that it was raining. That's how you know you've done it right, I think. So we'll see. Anyway, I think the problem for most people with sports is just you need to find one that you actually like, or you need to learn a sport and how to play a sport before you can assess really if you like it. If I was taught properly how to play football, I might have enjoyed football more, but I was never taught correctly how to play football, and I hate this sport. I find it dreadfully boring, as I do with most sports. Badminton is probably the only exception to that rule, so maybe don't pay attention to me. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed listening. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!